Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a brand new week of streams here on DSPGaming. It's going to be an exciting one because this week we're continuing on with 5 different games that we have been playing over the last couple of weeks here. And in addition to that, we got more RimWorld, which you guys are really liking, and we got a new game at the end of the week. Plus, a lot of other stuff going on, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to get caught up because we need to figure out exactly what's going to be in the rotation and what's not. We did a couple experimental streams on Friday, and I think I have some idea based on those streams of what we want to keep doing and what we don't. We're going to talk about that today. So it's time for the start of 6 awesome days of streaming. Sit back and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the show. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to a brand new week here on DSP Gaming. I'm, of course, DSP, and this is the Level 1 Podcast for Sunday, the 4th of January, 2026. We got a heck of a lot going on in the world, that's for sure. And, of course, everyone is abuzz with the news about political takeovers and all kinds of stuff. Well, I'm not here to talk about that today because I'm a gameplay streamer, and I'm happy for that we don't have to get into all that kind of drama. I'm sure everyone else out there has weighed in on it. But for me, I'm here to chill. I'm here to relax. I'm here to have a good time with games and to talk and hang out, right? So, good stuff. That's right. No more DS politics. That's been retired for over a year, and we're certainly not going to do that this morning. So, I hope you're all doing good. I'm coming back from my day off yesterday. And basically yesterday was a day that was pretty relaxing for me. I would say I spent a lot of time with my wife, and we got to do some fun stuff together. And just in general, it was a pretty good day. We had a pretty good time together, and, nothing too much to talk about. Nothing crazy happened. It wasn't the holidays anymore. Things have calmed down there. I think the most eventful thing was that we baked a pie in our oven. Ooh, right? It was a cherry pie. We had seen at the grocery store that there was some pies from the state of Oregon, which is one state over from us, and it's this new business that started up, and you bake this pie in your oven, and it was amazing. It was like cherry pie full of like flavor. Like, wow. That was a very exciting day. Let me tell you guys. While the rest of the world was all abuzz with politics and happenings, we were busy baking cherry pies. All right? So that was the extent of my day off. But anyway, welcome back to a full week of gameplay and fun here on the channel. I hope that you guys are ready for that. No drama, just fun game stuff, right? And so this morning, what we're going to talk about, well, it's almost afternoon now. We're going to talk about a couple of things, all right? The first thing that we need to talk about is what's going on with the streams that we did on Friday. And the reason that I say that is basically on Friday, we did 2 experimental streams, if you remember. The first was taking Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and putting it as a full daytime stream, now with my new equipment, to see, number 1, how I would do in the game, and number 2, if it was entertaining enough to basically warrant it being a daytime stream, and to maybe have this game in the rotation, moving forward like that. So that was number 1. Number 2, we tried Tainted Grail as a late night chill stream. All right. Sadly, both of these streams were derailed by a lot of nonsense. And I don't want to talk about the nonsense at length today. I just want to talk to you about what I got out of those streams and we need to figure out exactly what we want to do with those games. I'll be honest, I have an opinion, and I think it's going to be probably what we go with, but obviously I want to get your take on this as well today so that we can have a better idea of, do you want more actual Call of Duty gameplay? Did you like it enough? But do you not want it as a major stream? Maybe you want it as night streams. What about Tainted Grail? Did you enjoy it? Is this the kind of game that we could do as a stream with, over time or not? So basically, we got a lot to talk about in that regard. But the thing is, we already are tackling a bunch of games. If you think of our games lineup right now, right? We've got Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which we're currently doing all of the Act 3 gameplay of that we skipped when we played the game originally last year. We've got Pokemon Legends ZA, which we're still doing the Mega Dimension DLC in. Probably 2 to 3 more streams of that to wrap it up, but that's still another week and a half at least. We got Arc Raiders, right, which has been doing really good. It seems like out of all the gameplay that I've been doing recently, Arc Raiders seems to be some of the most enjoyable and or engaging for the audience who like the game because they can actively help me with figuring out, where to drop, where to find certain items, what weapons are good, what loadouts to use, etc. And it's been great. Like, the more I play, the better I feel the game is getting. And I'm having a good time with it. And now, we just started RimWorld. And RimWorld we're playing again on the late stream tonight. And I feel like already that first stream, people absolutely loved seeing an outsider like me jump into a game like that with zero experience. In fact, that's a lot of the appeal that I have had over the years as a creator, is being that kind of guy that has no experience, but basically tries a new genre or a new game franchise that you guys love and know, and then you like to see that first-time exposure. Like, that's part of the appeal, right? So I really enjoyed it the other day, and I'm looking forward to more tonight. I think hopefully more people will show up and engage and support that stream because I'm down to learn a new genre. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always open to new stuff. So right now, we already have a great rotation of 4 solid games. Do we want to have more in there, right? Do we actually want to have Call of Duty in there as a regular multiplayer thing? Or maybe that's it. We wrap it up. Tainted Grail is going to be a really long game, because if it's anything like an Elder Scrolls game, it's going to have probably a 20 to 40-hour campaign plus a ton of side content you're going to find along the way. So what do we really want to do? We're going to talk about that today. All right, I want to tell you how the streams went and just give you my honest opinion on how I think we should proceed, and we'll go from there. Keep in mind, this week we have a new game starting on Friday. It's called Code Violet, and it's the spiritual successor to the entire Dino Crisis franchise. People liked Dino Crisis when I played it a year ago. Remember? I actually played the game, and it did well. So maybe you're interested in seeing this. I mean, I'm down for it, and it seems like people want me to play it, so I'm okay with that. So we got a good amount of stuff in the rotation now. So it's kind of like now we might have to make tough decisions about how often do we play everything when we have this many games being, considered. So we're going to talk about that today. In addition, there's kind of a funny story going on in gaming right now that I'd like to cover if we have time on today's show in regards to Starfield being modded and people like it now, apparently. And I have an update on my year-end series, because now, guess what? The year is ended. And you would think, well, Phil's going to come out with his year-end series, right? Well, I am, but it's going to be very different this year, the way that I do it. I've already begun work on it, all right? And I wanted to give you all an update on that so you know exactly what's going on, okay? But before we get to any of that, we got a shout-out to do. I want to say thank you to Lance Catamaran, who gifted our first sub of the week over on Kick. Thank you very much. Let's get that on the leaderboard. Thank you for that. Our first contribution of the week, our first sub of the week. Thank you, Lance, for jumping on early there and supporting the stream. What are we doing today? Let's talk about that. Well, first, let's say hello to everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Welcome to everyone, both on YouTube and Kick. We've got Broden. We've got Ryan. Chris is here. Pepe Based is here. Final Chicken. Indrid. Sell Me a Waffle. Techno Babble. Who else do we got? Dirty Jers, what a name. And Blue Sam, Ragnarok, Grandmaster Scrub, Hybrid. On the Kick side, who do we got? Snake Sauce, Diligent Doge, or is it Doge? Actually, it's Doge, right? Diligent Doge. Kohi is here. Darkside Nate is here saying robust. Who else do we got? Your future stepson, RGB lover Ortega's here this morning. Bizarre pronunciations and more. A lot of sock accounts got terminated back on Friday. A lot of idiots who were basically acting up and acting a fool. It is what it is. Like I said, I really don't want to dwell on the drama from Friday. I want to talk about the results of the streams and what I got out of them moving forward. But for the record, yeah, Friday there was a lot of morons and trolls spamming chat and kick. I'm just not going to give them the time of day. If it happens again today, it's just going to be instant ban and move on. I'm not even going to address it because it's not worth the derailing. I just want to have a nice chill day and a good week starting off here. You're not funny. What's going on? Max Power Gaming's here. Banana Jose and more. All right, cool. RimWorld Enjoyer is here. You're here early, but RimWorld is tonight. Let's talk about that, shall we? Oh, Lucy Poxy is back. Welcome back to Lucy Poxy. Actually, that's one of the crazy things that happened last week. So, FYI, I should address this, all right? Just quickly. So, Lucy Poxy, who is a regular chatter on the Kick Chat, was in the hospital for the holidays. And that's awful. And Lucy, I wish you the best. I hope you're feeling better. Okay? While Lucy was in the hospital, 220 ICS, whatever you want to say, the frequent supporter, but also kind of troll on Kick, said some horrible, horrible things. And I couldn't believe it. The things that they were saying in chat, when it was basically like, how can I say? Basically, it was the morning and it wasn't even a stream that had started yet. All right? And they were sitting here in the chat and they were saying, oh, just so you know, I heard that Lucy Poxy has passed away. What? And we're like, what? Why would you say that? And you're like, why would someone make that up? So everyone believed, everyone was like, oh my God, that's horrible. And people started feeling terrible. And then I went to their Twitter and it was a complete lie. Like 100% lie. Like, why would he say that in the chat? So obviously this is just crazy sociopathic actions and he got banned. All right. And then people were wondering, well, Lucy Poxy is back. So welcome back, Lucy. I hope you're feeling better. All right. I'm sorry that happened to you during the holidays and no one's going to be allowed. I don't care how big of a supporter someone is. They're going to come by and say awful things like that. That's that. Like, I had enough. This guy, you know, the problem is, and people say, well, why do you put up with him, Phil? I don't. He comes back with 1 million sock accounts and then he donates again. Like you see these pop-ups, that's definitely him. You know what I mean? Like, I can't control who actually contributes on Kick. There's no way to do that. Like, there's no way to shut off Kick contributions, even from someone who you ban. They still do that. It's like, what the hell? I can't stop it. So, it sucks, but it is what it is. If you see stupid pop-ups like that, that's what it is. And, you know this guy's going to be back. And there's nothing I can do to stop him. I wish I could. I wish I could IP ban him, but there's no way to do that. All right? So, understand, I try to control my streams as much as I possibly can. But that's that. So, Lucy, welcome back. I'm glad to see you're feeling better in the chat. And, yeah, we're not going to put up with people saying awful things about you when you're gone. That's really messed up. Okay? All right. So, let's get to it, shall we? Today is going to be a nice, chill day. What's today going to be? Today is going to be a nice day of continuing on with Expedition 33 here on the first stream, where we're going to finish up this Flying Manor dungeon, which we've been doing for like 2 hours. It's a very lengthy dungeon, challenging, fun. You redo a whole bunch of the unique boss fights from the base story of the game. You do them a second time now, much harder versions. And I actually don't know what's at the end of the dungeon. We're going to find out today as we get to it. So I'm excited to see how it goes today. Hopefully you guys will stick around and hang out with me as we play more Expedition 33. It's been a great playthrough so far coming back to this game. And I'm just excited for more. I really have a great time every time I play it. Later tonight, it's the second stream ever of RimWorld. And this stream, I had no idea how it was going to go last week when I played it. Well, we had great attendance, great engagement, and great support. Okay? Amazing. So, FYI, tonight is the second stream. We're going to try it all again. Now, was the first stream a one-time thing, or will people actually be that excited for RimWorld again tonight? I don't know. I sure would love to have you back for RimWorld on the late stream if you can make it, to hang out and help me, because this is the kind of game I 100% need your help. I cannot succeed at RimWorld without people holding my hand. That's the kind of game it is. It is very complex. It's got layers upon layers of menus and options and things. I don't even know what order to do stuff. Like, do I build a wall, or do I improve the size of a bedroom, or do I craft some resources over here, or do I farm over here, or do I build defenses? Do I research something? I have no clue, and people are trying to help me to understand, you know, like what's more important in this order or that order, and that's tremendous that people are doing that. Without that, I don't think this is ever even the kind of game that I would be able to play, to be honest with you. So let's see how today goes. All right, and hopefully it goes well. On the late stream, you'll come back for more RimWorld, my second session ever, okay? Good stuff. So that's tonight. And for the record, it's just the first run, and I'm well aware that the first run on a game like that is usually the trial run. This doesn't end up having to be this giant session of that we go on and we do this for months and months with this group. We could eventually maybe play it for a little bit, try to learn the basics, and then maybe go back and do a second run with different colonists and a different setup. That's fine. I know this game has tons of different options you can do, but this is just kind of the trial run, learning the basics, stuff like that. I hope that you guys will be here for that tonight. It should be good. Okay, so that's the streams we're looking at today. What time tonight? It starts between 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's the late stream tonight, RimWorld, okay? It'll be around 2 hours of gameplay, usually when we do that. So let's see how it goes. Someone was already asking, would you ever do day streams of RimWorld? Well, I don't know. See, the whole idea behind RimWorld was that it was supposed to be kind of this interactive, chill stream, which fits my late night stream format much better. I'm not against ever trying it as a daytime stream. I'm just saying, like, let's play it by ear. We already did it as a night stream. It worked, and everyone asked me to have it back as a night stream, which is why we're doing it tonight. Let's see how that goes. And if it goes well again, great. If people eventually want to request it to be a different time of day, I'm okay with that. Let's see how it goes tonight and go from there. Okay? Cool. Very good. All right, so let's talk, because what we need to really figure out right now is what's going on in regards to all the games that I'm playing. So Expedition 33 is still doing well. We're still getting a solid audience for it. We're still getting good support for it. It will continue as a day stream. I don't honestly know how much content is in it. Like, since I skipped out on Act 3 last year, this is all new to me. So me playing it now is like a completely new experience, and I don't really know how much more is left. I know that there are a few like dungeons and things we haven't gotten to yet, but I also don't know how lengthy anything is. You guys would know better than me, who are following the Expedition 33 playthrough, like how much is left. So anyone who knows, by all means today, please let me know exactly what's going on with the game, and you know how much longer we have, if there's tons more or not, and if what I'm missing. That's the thing, I need to know like what I'm missing, because I don't want to miss out on meaningful content. That's the whole reason I went back to the game. So I would love to have some guidance on what to do. As for Pokemon, I get the feeling we're almost done with it. You know, the way that the Pokemon DLC works, this Mega Dimension DLC, is that you keep going into these portals that are ranked by star level of difficulty. And it started with 1 star, and then it keep going higher, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. We've unlocked the 4-star portals. So I feel like, you know, one more session of going through the portals, fighting Pokemon, getting the points, leveling up, story development, and then probably at the end there's maybe like the level 5 portals, and then that's probably the finale of the DLC, I would think. So that's why I'm thinking with the Pokemon DLC, likely we're going to end up finishing it sooner rather than later. Maybe within a week to 2 weeks tops. So I'm thinking by mid to late January, Pokemon will be wrapped up and completed, okay? And that's fine, because we're going to have more games coming out that we're going to want to play. In regards to Arc Raiders, I'm liking what we're doing with it. Every time that I play, we learn a little bit something different. We do some interesting drops in new areas. Like, there's still like 2 maps I think we haven't even really done yet. When I started doing the Stella Montes map, we're finding great loot and awesome stuff there. It's a lot of fun. So I'm just really enjoying that. And it seems like every time that we do Arc Raiders, we have a good time. So why not keep that going in the rotation? You know what I mean? And we just talked about RimWorld, which just got started. So we have 4 solid games right now going on that we can juggle. But the question right now is what are we going to do in regards to Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, and Tainted Grail. So allow me to explain what happened on Friday's streams, okay? We tried Call of Duty Black Ops 7 as a daytime stream. This time around, I was using all of my new equipment over here. My new mouse, my new keyboard, my surround sound headphones, okay? So basically, it was a whole different setup. And to be honest with you, it absolutely, positively worked. All right? Like, no lie. I actually think that I played much better when I played on Friday than I had before. I was actually getting positive kill-death ratio almost every match. I was doing well with every gun. Sniper rifle, I was getting consistent kills, and I was reacting and actually being accurate with it. New SMG that I unlocked, I was doing good with it. It's called the Carbon. I was doing really well with that. So basically, it was all going really well for me. And, when it comes to the gameplay, it was dramatically improved. Viewership was decent. At first, it was hard to tell. Because sadly, this idiot was view botting. And since the idiot was view botting, I was in a situation where I could not gauge how many people were actually on the stream, and that sucked because I wanted to see how many people I could actually get. Once the view bots were gone, it seemed like I had between 200 to 300 people watching on YouTube and probably about 100 or so on Kick, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good then. That's a pretty good audience, I would argue. All right? The support, well, I'll be honest, the support was decent. It certainly wasn't the absolute best support I've ever had. It also wasn't the worst. Okay? It was kind of middle of the road. It was a decent stream. What I would hope is that if I play Call of Duty more often and I get better at it, that basically I would be able to get more of an audience for it. And that's my problem right now is I don't know, is that the case? Is it always going to be a bunch of trolls come to Call of Duty just to try to rage against me and say, oh, you suck or whatever, and we want to see you fail at a multiplayer game? Or can I actually build up a consistent audience? Like, for example, Abdullah right now in chat says, keep Black Ops 7 in the rotation. I'd like to, but will people show up for it? Or is this going to be the situation where I'm playing it and having fun, but the audience isn't with me and they're disengaged, and there's no point in streaming it then? You know what I'm saying? Even I feel like I'm going to get better now that I have the equipment and everything. I feel like I would actually improve and get better at it, and the content would improve in quality. But with that situation going, I want to make sure that people are in line and want to see that. I don't want to be playing it just for me. Okay? So I'm willing to give it another go, but I'll be honest. I think that basically we should keep it to night streams for now. I was playing it as a daytime stream for 3+ hours. We made great progress, and we even did this challenge unlock where I got a new drone and everything, which was great. But I don't know. I just feel like the vibe for that, like a multiplayer late night stream, seems to fit it better. I don't know. I just feel that way. So I guess what we should do is let's give it another go this week. I think I want to give it a night stream in order to test it, and hopefully it'll go well. I don't know if it'll go well, but hopefully it'll go well. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, so that's what's going on right now with Call of Duty, and I hope that you guys will hopefully come back for the stream that we're going to do this week, which I believe I tentatively scheduled it for tomorrow night. That's right. I wanted to give it a go as a night stream, and so I said, hey, tomorrow night, let's give it a try. And let's see how it goes. All right. So hopefully you'll come back tomorrow, and it'll work out. Sorry, I'm distracted right now. I'm just fixing something. There we go. Oh, and it'll work out, and we'll have an audience for it, and people will engage and support. If it works out and people actually show up for it, then we will actually do it as a regular thing, multiplayer, in my variety of streams that I do. Now, if it doesn't work out, meaning if I stream it tomorrow night and we don't get a lot of people, and we don't get a lot of people who are positive engaging with the stream, but instead they're just toxic and we don't get much support, then I probably won't do it again, which sucks because I like having a variety of games and I like having like a FPS multiplayer game, but I want to be doing something people want. It's not just for me, it's for you and everybody. So let's see how it goes tomorrow and we'll go from there. All right. Now, as for Tainted Grail, okay, I'm going to be honest about this one. I like it. That's the kind of game that I feel like I would enjoy doing long term. I feel like Tainted Grail is definitely the kind of game that is a relaxing exploration style, open world, go find quests and do them, have fun, engaging with the audience and talking and chatting with them. But when I played Tainted Grail on Friday night, basically two things happened. Number one, there wasn't a huge audience that showed up to engage. And what I mean by that was there were people who showed up to hang out. It just wasn't a huge group. It was a much smaller group, all right? That's okay with certain playthroughs as long as you can get an engaged group and they're there for the game. The problem was, to be honest with you, the support was abysmal. Like, there was, outside of $40 of gifted subs from a sock account of ICS, there was only like $40 to support the entire stream. Most people who showed up barely talked. A lot of it was trolling. And I hate to say it, but I just feel like, sadly, people aren't digging this game. I do, but it doesn't always translate into what people want to see. Like, I like Elder Scrolls in that formula. I know there's not going to be a real Elder Scrolls coming out in a very long time. I now gave the game 3 separate streams to work. If I can't get an audience by stream number 3 who's there to engage and support the game, then I know that it's probably a failure. And I don't think that has anything to do with the quality of the game at all, because I'm really liking the game. I actually think it's just something to do with the audience not clicking. It could be that the game is older. You know, the game came out last year on the earlier side. I think it was like the first half of last year that the game had come out. And so because of that, maybe there's just no hype behind it anymore. I mean, there was a DLC that released for it, but basically that DLC is not, doing well. Excuse me, it's not doing well, but I'm not playing it because it's not in my rotation. Why would I play the DLC if I haven't played the base game, right? So I feel like that's just kind of the deal with the game. Like, I tried it 3 times. If I can't get a consistent viewer base for it, if people won't support it, then it seems like, I guess, people just don't want it. Is it sad? Yeah, but it's a case of, it's not like I didn't try. It's not like I didn't try to sell my case to you guys that I liked it and I wanted to do it. But you got to understand something about Tainted Grail. It's going to be an incredibly lengthy game, right? This is an RPG open world. To play that game, you're talking about probably 40 or more hours. I can't commit to a 40-hour playthrough that people will not show up for, engage, and support with, all right? So, I guess, sadly, unless, like I said on Friday, unless someone convince me that somehow in the long term this game would work, I think I'm done with it, which I guess is kind of sad because it is a good game in my opinion, but what can I do, right? Okay. So, that's what I think we will do. So this week, here's what we're looking for the schedule, just so everybody knows. Today, as I already said, it's Expedition 33 in RimWorld. Tomorrow, it's going to be Pokemon Legends ZA continuing and Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Tuesday, we're going to do Arc Raiders. And here's the thing. I think on Tuesday night, we should try a new game. Because now, Tainted Grail's out of the rotation. We have an opportunity for a random night with nothing really going on where we can play whatever we want. So I think that what we should do is put our heads together over today and tomorrow and try to figure out what game it actually is that we want to try out on Tuesday night. It'll be a trial night where we just try something new. And it could be anything. It could be a game that we've already discussed and I just didn't get a chance to play yet. It could be a game that maybe I've already started ages ago and now we can come back to it, or it could be something completely new that I've never played before. All right, so Tuesday night is the big night where we're actually going to be doing that, and I hope that you guys will join me on Tuesday night. But the question is, what do we do? And I think we should start talking about that. Let's discuss it. Let's figure it out, and maybe we get it going, and we start on Tuesday night. Okay. And I think there's going to be all different opinions on that because there's so much going on in gaming right now, none of which is a major AAA thing. Instead, it's kind of like little thing here, little thing there, indie game here, Let's chat. And already I got people who are contributing and are suggesting things, okay? Okay. FYI, I just want to say one quick thing, and I'll probably have to bring it up a few times during the day. I started updating and doing different things with certain things in my setup, but also I've started updating links and things. FYI, if you want to tip me today, my tips link is different. What do I mean by that? Well, if you use the tips command right now, you're going to see there used to be a link there you click on and it goes to my tips page. You can send me a tip via that page. Well, the tips link has updated. It's an updated page now. You'll see that everything's a little different. So this week, starting this week, please tip me via the new stuff. The thing is, I know some people who actually tip me will like favorite the old link and just say, oh, I want to tip Phil, and they'll click on the link. It ain't going to work today. All right. I've set up a new page. So go to the new tips page and please tip me via the new page if you wanted to tip via PayPal. Now, everything else is still the same, but this is a thing that periodically I may change it from time to time. And in this case, I changed it this week. I want everyone to know. I saw someone in chat previously said, your tips isn't working. Well, there's a new link. It's exactly the same. It works exactly the same. It's just a different link you have to use if you want to send me a tip during a live stream. I should still get a notification. I should still be able to play a pop-up. None of that has changed. I just hope that it's working because it's a new one, brand new. So I just want to be sure that everything is working in working order. So I guess we'll see over the course of today. I guess if by the end of today I receive 0 tips, I'd be like, something's probably up, right? I guess we'll see. Okay. And no, you cannot tip in Monopoly money. QQ on Kick, I saw your email. I didn't read it yet, but I saw it. Sorry I didn't get a chance to read it yet because they're asking. They said, I shot you an email. Did you read it? I see it in my inbox. I just haven't read any emails there yet. So, okay. All right, let's do some shout-outs. What's up, King Michael? Good morning. Let's do some shout-outs because a bunch of people just did super chats. All right. I'll look for other contributions. We'll see if tips come through or not with this new link. Hopefully it's working. That's a bummer. I can't test it. There's no way for me to test it. I have to see if people try to use it and if it works or not. Hopefully it works. And we'll go from there. All right, we have a couple other topics to talk about. I want to give you an update on the year-end series. And we can actually also possibly do a little news story here about this Starfield mod thing that's kind of funny. Okay? All right. Some shout-outs to do. We already got Lance, who was our first sub of the week on Kick. Too Late for Prey did a $2 super chat and says, Mr. DSP, try to play Diablo 2 Remastered. So, interestingly enough, back in the day, I used to play Diablo 1 and 2 on PC. And I actually really love those games. Too Late for Prey. That was his name. I got hooked on Diablo 2. I thought Diablo 2 was an amazing game. And it's one of those games where the gameplay loop is incredibly addicting. And you could just sink hours and hours into it. I remember during my college days, some nights I would just sit there playing Diablo 2 all night. And it'd be like so early in the morning, like, shit, I got to get up tomorrow for school, man. I got to go to sleep. And I'd jump in bed and sleep for like 2 hours and then go to class, right? Which obviously is not good. But that game is just so addicting. Time flies when you play it. You don't realize it, right? Now, as a YouTuber in the modern day, I have played both Diablo 3 and 4. Okay? And the truth is, I think that sadly modern Diablo has kind of lost its way, and it doesn't really feel as addicting or as fun as classic Diablo. Diablo 3 didn't even feel like Diablo, the way that they changed the tone and everything. I just didn't really like it that much. Diablo 4, I think, was an improvement, and they tried to return it maybe back to form. But to be honest, I just don't think Diablo has the appeal today that it used to have, okay? Now, here's the thing about Diablo as a game to stream. The only way that I could feel that Diablo would work as a stream is that we have a group of people that buy in and say, hey, decided that we're going to show up and hang out with you when you play Diablo, and it's going to be more of a social element than just the game. Because in truth, Diablo is just an insane amount of grinding. It's just running around repetitively, pressing buttons, killing a ridiculous amount of mobs, hoping for loot to drop. Like, that's Diablo. That's the gameplay loop. There's not much to it. The story is there, but you get through the story, and then it's just this big loop of gameplay content that just is almost never ending. Okay? Have I tried Diablo? Yeah, I tried both Diablo 3 and 4. They did not work as playthroughs at all. They failed. People just outright told me, we find the game too boring. We find it too repetitive. We're not interested in it. And therefore, after just basically doing the basic stories of both Diablo 3 and 4, I just dropped the games and never went past that. I'm well aware that a lot of people consider the real game of Diablo after you beat the story. And you start getting into like the end game content or post game content. I know. But if people didn't like the intro, why would they like that stuff, right? So I don't think Diablo 2 Remastered would work just based on its track record. But then again, there's a lot of stuff that previously didn't work and somehow is working now. So maybe things have changed. I don't know. But I guess we can consider it. But it's just not a guarantee. Like, I don't think that we would want to 100% lock in and be like, oh, yeah, definitely, let's do Diablo 2. I guess it would be a question for the audience. If I decided to play a game like that and it was in the rotation and all I did was grinding gameplay, but we talked a lot when I played it. Like, it was more about us hanging out than just focusing on the game. Would you be interested? Because I tell you, Diablo 3 and 4 just didn't work. People did not like them at all. So I don't know realistically how this would work in the modern day. Okay? Okay? Cool. Fish Tank Big Boss did a $2 super chat. He says, did you do the year tier list of DSP Tries It? So that's what I want to get you guys caught up on. I want to give you an update in regards to the DSP Tries It series because I do have an update for you. It's a positive one. I want to start giving you info about concretely when I'll be working on and or releasing the year-end series because I'm doing it differently this year as a part of the podcast. There's actually going to be podcasts where the entire episode is dedicated to a year-end series rather than me breaking it out and it being its own separate streams that basically get rid of gameplay. Because that's the thing, like, do I want to do the year-end series? Yeah, I'm actually very excited for it, but I don't want to miss out on entire gameplay streams and then we're behind on games and people are upset that we're not playing games enough, you see? So I want to try to integrate it into the gameplay streams. Excuse me, into the podcasting streams, what I meant to say. So more on that coming after these shout-outs. I'll give you an update because I did work on that stuff yesterday, actually. Okay? Okay. Spedgy did a $6.99 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Spedgy. Let's convert that. $5.09. Thank you to Spedgy for a $5.09 super chat. That is the biggest one of the day so far, obviously. Okay, and Spedgy says, Terminator 2 No Fate. So you see, that's a consideration. It is. Terminator 2 No Fate is a game that we definitely could choose to play if we wanted to. I don't know if we want to, right? People are saying that it's expensive, that it's a game that kind of is almost like a ripoff. Like if it was like a $10 game, it would be worth it. But it really only is a $2 game. But as you do runs, you unlock more alternations of the stages and stuff like that. See, I don't know. I didn't play it yet. I like the Terminator movies. So I'm excited for something if it has like a tie-in to those and has those references. At the same time, is it going to be something that's done so quick that is it even worth doing? I don't know. So that's definitely a consideration in this week for Tuesday night, because Tuesday night is the week that the stream that's open that we don't know what we're doing. Okay? So Tuesday night, let's see. Let's talk about this. Terminator 2 No Fate as a consideration for Tuesday night is a definite maybe. Yeah, I'm considering that. Let's see what else people would maybe like. Okay? Soul at 2 a.m. also with a $5 super chat. Says, unless someone cares a whole awful lot, things won't get better. They will not. Says the Lorax maybe. Well, I don't know what that's in reference to. But thank you for a $5 super chat. Soul at 2 a.m. Okay. All right, so I think we're caught up now. I'm taking a look at everything. I think I've shouted everything out. Again, the tips link has changed. So if you're going to tip me today, you can still use the tips command in either chat. You can still look at the description of today's streams or videos. I've changed the links there. So it's basically the same exact premise. You just go to that link, you click on it, you send a tip through it, you send a message. It's exactly the same in that regard, but it's just a different link. Okay? We'll see if it works. I'm waiting. So far, it doesn't look like anyone has tipped. So I don't know if that's the case or if people did tip and you're waiting for me to shout it out and I'm not seeing it. I did set it up to send me notifications, but I don't see any yet. So I guess we'll see. Let me know if you're a regular and you tipped and I'm not shouting it out because I haven't gotten any notifications yet. So obviously I want to be sure that, the notifications are working and I'm not missing contributions or anything. Maybe I'll have to actively try to have it open. I don't know. The problem with PayPal is they auto-log you out constantly. Like, constantly. And it's a major pain to have to keep logging in. So, yeah, so far, it shows nothing. So, okay, good. What I'll do is I'll probably try to leave that open too, just in case the notifications aren't coming through. Okay. Okay. So, cool. So let's talk about these year-end series, because people are asking now and you want information on them. Well, I've got it for you. All right. As of yesterday, when I was relaxing with my wife, actually, we were watching a couple videos together on the couch, and I said, you know what I'll do is I'll just casually go through my list of playthroughs that I did in 2025, and I'll just make a few lists, because I literally had not looked at my playthroughs from last year at all. And last year was a very chaotic year. If you remember, being a PC gamer for the whole year, I was able to jump between different games that previously were not on my radar whatsoever. I was able to basically do a lot of indie games that I never played before. And to be honest, a lot of AAA games that normally I would be like so focused on it and into and loving, they were horrible. So I barely even played them, really. So I said, let me go through this, and I did. I went through all these lists, and I actually put it together. It's in my phone. What I need to do is transfer it over to my PC, because I need to work on this week, is my year-end series. So what are the year-end series? All right, it's 3 this year. The first is going to actually be a rundown of the most disappointing games of 2025. Okay? So what does that mean? What are disappointing games? Why aren't you doing the worst games? Well, I've never done a worst games countdown. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. My countdown is always a little different, because when I say disappointing games, what I mean are games that likely had potential, or I was explaining or expecting a lot from them. And when they came out, they were just incredibly disappointing. All right? And this happens all the time. You may have a giant AAA release that was super hyped. You play it, it's disappointing. Now, it might not mean that the game is bad. In fact, I can tell you right now, I'm looking at this list, and there's a few games on this list that I would argue actually are good games, and I was disappointed with them for various reasons. Sometimes it's the game itself. Sometimes it's the situation around a game. Sometimes it's the way that a playthrough of a game is received. But all of those things can make a game disappointing for me. Okay? So going through all the games that I played in 2025, I found, let's see, 16 disappointing games. 16 disappointing games. All right? And I know. You're like, wait, what? That's a lot. Yeah, I know. There was that many games that I played and was like, oh. So we're going to go through that. That's going to probably be the biggest countdown that I'm going to do this year, is 16 most disappointing games. And let's be honest, YouTube loves toxicity and negativity. They just do. Okay? So in regards to this, I think this is probably going to be the most popular of the year-end series that I do. All right? And incidentally, the most disappointing games of 2025 countdown will be the first one I'm doing. So that's the very first one I'm going to start strong. Okay? So, I will let you know when we're doing it, and likely, if I have time, we're doing it this week. I think we're going to probably do 3 podcasts this week. 1 today, probably 1 Tuesday, and then 1 Thursday. So probably it'll be Thursday morning's podcast this week. It's going to be the most disappointing games countdown. Okay? So what'll happen is the podcast will start, and then we'll do a little intro, and then we'll jump right into the most disappointing games countdown live on the show. And I'll probably clip it out, and it'll end up being its own kind of video upload, so people can watch it separately if they want, rather than it being part of the podcast. But it is going to be broadcast as the podcast that morning. Okay, just so you know. So that's number 1. That's the beginning. And that'll likely be by the end of the week. Okay? Then we've got my Game of the Year awards for 2025. Folks, this one, no lie, no exaggeration. This one, I was going through all the games I played in 2025, and I'm like, okay, that was a pretty good one. I like that one. I enjoyed that one. And as I'm going through it, right, I'm nearing the end. I'm like, wait, this is the end of the year? And I'm okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's just not a lot at all, to be honest. Out of all these games that I played in 2025, a lot of them were kind of like just kind of filler or disappointing, or I played it, but it wasn't like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are games that are perfectly fine that I enjoyed, but I'm not going to say, oh, this is a Game of the Year contender. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever in the over 17 years that I've been a gaming creator and YouTuber, I don't even have a top 10 best games of the year. I couldn't even do it. Out of all the games last year, there were so many games that were AAA disappointments that basically it shrunk my list down so short. I only have a top 8 best games of 2025 countdown for you this year. Now, the truth is, when I look at all 8 of these games, there's a unique reason why each of these games I've selected to be one of my best games of the year. And I have a lot to say about each one. So I think the countdown will still be entertaining and fun, but I find it shocking that I couldn't even get 10 games from 2025 that I consider Game of the Year contenders for me. Really, like, there just weren't that many. All right, it was a year of underwhelming disappointments or really quick games, and that's fine, but I'm never going to say, oh, a game that I played 2 streams and, that's a Game of the Year contender. Probably not. Not unless it was a game that really was entertaining for those 2 streams, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, sadly, gaming is getting to the point where it's not even worth finishing most games you play. You play a game a couple times, like, you're just not hooked anymore. You're not hyped. You're not excited. The games that used to be from studios that you trusted all the time to be the best games that were going to be out are incredibly underwhelming, incredibly disappointing. A lot of the times, it's just a ripoff that you even play at full price for a certain game. So it's funny because someone say there's a gaming industry crash right now. I don't think there's a crash. I think what we're seeing is a shift. What we're experiencing is a unique situation where AAA game companies are no longer the golden boys, if you know what I mean by that. Like, it used to be, every year, EA is going to come out with a banger. Bethesda's going to come out with a banger. Ubisoft is going to have 2 or 3 big ones. Capcom's going to have 2 or 3 big ones. Every year you knew there was a game company that was going to come out with an amazing game. Everyone would talk about, everyone would play. It would resonate. It would be part of gaming culture. Now, it's like you're lucky if you get a AAA studio that even puts out a game that people will talk about longer than a week. As much as Sony would like to pretend like Ghost of Yotei was a hit, it wasn't a hit. People are not talking about Ghost of Yotei anymore. It died within 2 weeks. The only reason people even brought it up again was because it was nominated at the Game Awards, and now the game is deader than dead, and no one's talking about it. Which is a complete juxtaposition, a complete switch from when Ghost of Tsushima came out. Ghost of Tsushima, most people argued, was the real Game of the Year in a year when all the journalists said Last of Us 2 was the winner. Everyone said, no, Ghost of Tsushima should have won that. This year, people are like, why do you play Ghost of Yotei, right? It's so the samey game. So, yeah, like for me, it's really hard for me to look at you guys and honestly say, here's 10 games that I loved in 2025. There aren't. So I'm going to be honest, and I'm only going to talk about the 8 that I really, really like. Okay? And I hope that makes sense. I seriously hope that, people aren't going to be like, oh, he's just a negative guy now that doesn't like games. It couldn't be further from the truth. I like games. I love being a gaming content creator. I wish that the industry would wake up. And instead of trying to pump out games that have microtransactions and seasonal passes and games as a service and all of this crap, they would pump out good games again. These companies used to be good. BioWare. When was the last time you played a good game from BioWare? Obsidian. Did you know Obsidian had 3 games in 2025? 3. Can you name them? Probably not. They weren't worth playing, quite frankly, which is sad. And Obsidian used to be a company that pumped out great games, and now it's just crap after crap after crap. It's all mid. That's actually the best way to describe the industry right now. Everything is just so very mid. There's almost nothing that stands out and that warrants a $70 price tag or any more than like maybe 20 hours of your attention. There's so few games that right now really are worth talking about or getting excited for. And that's another thing too, when people say to me, well, Phil, what games are you hyped about in 2026? Hyped? I really don't get hyped for games anymore. If anything, the games that are good are the ones you don't hype up ahead of time. They come out of nowhere and they end up being really entertaining, fun experiences, but you never saw them coming. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to now, all these games that people are hyping up, can I really get excited? Like, the first game of the year that I'm really excited for is Resident Evil Requiem. Okay? I hope it's good. I really do. Because we need AAA games to be good again. It's been too long. You know, these studios were putting out gold, and now they're putting out, you know, polished turds, per se. It's sad. It is. It's a sad state that the big dogs are falling. So, yeah, I have 8 of my favorite games of the year for my Game of the Year awards this year. To be honest, I haven't ranked them yet. I just wrote down, here's the 8 that I liked the most, and I haven't even started to rank them yet. That likely will be the second year-end series that I do. And then this year, I'm doing something a little different. Probably around the end of January, we're going to do a special show. I'm going to call it the Best of DSP Tries It 2025. So for those who aren't aware, DSP Tries It is a taste testing show where I try food in a live review frequently. You know, in 2025, the series had a big reinvigoration. Previously, it had been defunct. And then in 2024, I brought it back sporadically as like a reward for hitting milestones. Well, now it came back in a huge way, and there was nearly weekly episodes in 2025, you know? And I was like, whoa, that's cool. So I have a lot to go through, but I went through the DSP Tries It for last year, and I found a good amount of ones that I thought were notable for good and bad reasons. In some cases, these were cuisines that I had never tried before, and actually trying it for the first time, I was shocked one way or another. Sometimes it was a meal that was such a horrible gimmick meal, and there was nothing special about it, yet they were selling it for a premium price, and it was an absolute laughable joke, so I exposed it. In some cases, there was food that the quality was so good that now these are places that I'm going to frequent more in the future because I know about them. And in a few rare cases, there were situations where the food was so bad that I'm literally never going back to that business ever again if I can help it. All right? So, a good variety of DSP Tries It stuff, okay? Now, there's over 10 of them, and I'm debating how to go through it, because, for example, when I do my disappointing games countdown or when I do my Game of the Year awards, all I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing gaming footage in the background of said game, and then I'm going to be talking over it. So, you know, you'll have something to watch while I'm talking about the ups and downs of each game and why I liked it or didn't like it. In the case of DSP Tries It, probably what I'll do is just play like a highlight quickly, and then maybe even like skim through the video to try to find some of the high and low points of said video. But I don't know if this is how this is going to work. Like, I want to try it. I just don't know how well this is going to do. It's a lot easier to talk about a game and just show some game footage than be like, so here's a cuisine I liked or didn't like. Now let's watch highlights of my review. You know what I mean? We'll see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I wanted to try something different, being that I put a lot of effort into DSP Tries It in 2025. We'll see if you guys like it or not. And by the way, like I said, all of these are going to be during the podcasts, okay? So the most disappointing games countdown will likely be by the end of this week. Worst case, early next week, but I'm going to try to do it maybe Thursday of this week. It really depends on how much time I have to put together all those clips. And then the Game of the Year awards will likely be next week. And then this, countdown of the DSP Tries It will likely be the third or last week of January. Okay, so over the course of January, once a week, we're going to do one of these countdowns, okay? I will let you know concretely when the dates are set, because some people said, oh, I want to be there live, you know. I hear you. I don't want you to miss it either. So I'll let you know exactly when it's going to be once I've locked it in. Right now, tentatively this Thursday, which would be what? The 8th, January 8th. That's going to be the one that's going to be for the most disappointing games of the year countdown on this podcast. Okay? Cool? Okay. Okay, I got a couple more shout-outs to do. We have Too Late for Prey, who did another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, would you be interested in doing Original Crisis playthrough? That game is really amazing. You know, I think I did try to play it at one point. Didn't have a remastered version. I played it. Now, this was ages ago. This was before I think I was a PC gamer. I tried to play it, and it ran horribly. Like, it had tons of issues, performance issues, and bugs and things. So I never actually played through it. Now, I don't know if the Original Crisis actually has a good version on PC. Now, I have a PC gamer. I have it. So, I don't know. What do you think? The Crisis? Anyone down for a Crisis playthrough? From what I'm going to understand, like, for me, I always heard that Crisis was a game that was essentially a tech demo. Like, the game itself, its gameplay elements and the story weren't that interesting, but the game ran in a way that it really taxed your setup, and therefore it was almost like the benchmark game that everyone always ran to see, gee, how many frames can my graphics card get on this game or whatever. And the game looked gorgeous. So it's a good-looking game that's a tech demo, not really much of a game to play. So I don't know what you guys think about that. What are your guys' thoughts? Again, I am down for whatever. I'd like to know from the audience, what you guys are interested in or not. All right. Shout out to Princess Luna. Princess Luna has gifted a membership, and this is our first membership of the day. Thank you for that, Princess Luna. I appreciate that. Okay. So before we move on, because I've pretty much covered the important topics that I wanted to cover today, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, we're already an hour into the show. Maybe we won't talk about the news story today. Maybe we'll do some Q&A or whatever. I'm not sure. Okay. But what I want to say is I hope that you guys have enjoyed the show. I hope you'll stick around for after the show for Expedition 33, which is going to be fun. We're in the Flying Manor. We're about to finish the Flying Manor. That's the first thing we're doing. And then after that, whatever you guys want, if you guide me towards other content that I haven't done yet, I know I could just fly around and explore for myself. But some people have recommendations of things to go in places in order to do stuff. So I'm down for that. Let me know when we play, but I hope you'll stick around and chill with that. That should be fun. And of course, like I said, later tonight, I'm very excited for more RimWorld to see how that goes. All right. Now, if you like the content today, please engage and support it. Number one, if you're on the stream and you're having a good time, please like the stream. Liking the stream adds engagement. Engagement gets more people to my channel because I show up in the algorithm more. So please like the content. If you're watching this podcast on demand after the fact, please like the video and leave comments on it. Chime in. Let me know. What do you think about Call of Duty being a night stream? What do you think about Tainted Grail? What's a candidate for a new game that we could play on Tuesday night and more? The more contributions you give via engagement, it helps the channel a lot. So thank you in advance, and please do. Now, in addition to that, obviously you can financially support the content via many different methods. On the kick side, you could send some kicks, or you can become a sub or give some subs to the community. And I appreciate that. I'll give you a shout out if you do. So far, thank you to Lance Catamaran, our first sub of the week. On the YouTube side, you can do a super chat. You can become a member, or you can give some memberships, again, to your fellow viewers. That's a great way to help out. And thank you in advance to anyone who does that. I will shout those out live as well. Now, tipping. You can tip me via PayPal. The link has been updated this morning, okay? So that means if you're going to tip me, you still use the ! tip command in chat if you're here live. You still look at the description of this stream or the description of a video, and the link there will be updated starting today. But a lot of people may not know that, because I know a lot of people use I bookmarked it. If you bookmark it and you try to tip me today, it won't work. All right, you got to use the new link that I updated this morning. So please use the new one. And thank you in advance to anyone who tips. Right now, no one is tipped, at least from what I can see. I may have to periodically keep checking, because obviously I just, I have these new things set up and I don't know how it's working. But, Let me know if you tipped me and I'm not shouting it out or whatever, because so far I don't see any contributions, and that's why I haven't shouted anything out. Okay? Cool. So you can contribute via all of those methods, and thank you in advance to anyone who does. It is your contributions that allow me to do what I love for a living. It's the major reason why we've had all these amazing studio upgrades over the last couple of months, why I'm still, additionally adding things, why I'm able to buy games on the fly with no issue. It's all because of you guys and your support, all right? So thank you again in advance. I appreciate all of you for supporting my content. Let's keep that awesome positivity and momentum rolling here in the new year. Cool? What in the holy hell is this song? It sounds terrible. I skipped it. That was the most chaotic song I think I've heard yet in the royalty-free music. That sounded awful, did it not? Oh. Okay. Okay. So, what I would like to do now is I would like to open up the podcast to open Q&A. Rather than do this news story late, let's just do a little bit of Q&A to end the show. Let's see what's on people's minds. All right. And I just typed into the Kick chat, so now it should be easier to tag me. Let's go. Silly Slug says, what kind of games would you like to see the industry actually release? The problem right now, the industry is stuck in this slump where they're only pumping out very similar stuff. All mid content. It's almost like slop. Like, we're only making games because we need to make games to make money. Okay, I get it. It's business. You're making games to make money. But at the same time, you have to understand that games are supposed to be works of art. They're entertainment, right? If you focus on only making money, people are going to see through that. People are going to see that you built a game around the microtransaction or the seasonal pass or whatever it is. And if it doesn't have a unique gameplay loop or unique story or something unique that stands out and makes it feel culturally relevant, most people are going to say, what's the point of playing this? And that's what's happened is, used to have these companies would pump out something that would be exciting and different, right? They would. And now today, if you look at the AAA releases, there is nothing exciting and different at all. Assassin's Creed Shadows literally went back to the formula from games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, copied it, copy-paste, boring gameplay, repetitive, grindy garbage. Game story is ass, graphics are bad, gameplay loop is boring as shit. Why does anyone care about your game? Seriously, why would anyone give a shit? Ghost of Tsushima stood out because it tried to do an improvement upon the Assassin's Creed formula and throw it into feudal Japan. Ghost of Yotei didn't stand out at all because it literally was Ghost of Tsushima 2. They didn't put any effort into trying to improve it or make it better or even add new element. It was basically the same game a second time with a different story. No one wants that. We want unique experiences, things that make us feel like you're worth our time and our effort and our money. Not, oh, we made this game as a product for you to consume and pay us for. That's not the whole point. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. All these companies are just pumping this out. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is one of the worst examples of this. This game is completely uninspired. It's taking zero risks. It's just pumping out the same garbage content. And to make matters even worse, the game has legacy maps. And when you play on the legacy maps, you realize this map was more fun to play in the older game. The older game had better loadouts, better guns, better equipment, and better gameplay loops than the modern one. The modern one doesn't have even the elements to make this map fun anymore. So if you want to ask me, what do I want in a new game or a modern game? I want something that's innovative, something that's creative, something that's unique and stands out, something that's best in class, tries, and has value for the dollar. Almost no AAA games are doing that today. What games did that? A game like Hollow Knight Silksong, a game like Blueprints, a game like Expedition 33. Those are the games. Arc Raiders, which actually has a unique, fun, addicting gameplay loop, good performance, interesting elements, These are the games that stood out in 2025. Not the next AI-assisted AAA garbage slop mid-game that just isn't worth playing. All these companies lost their way when it became about pleasing the guys in the boardroom or the investors who are stockholders rather than the people who bought the game and picked up the controller to play it. Who's more important? This person or the person who's looking at their fucking portfolio that, you know, your company is one of 700 stocks they own and they hope that they make a dividend this year off of the performance of your company? Sorry, this is more important because these are the people giving you the money. As much as you may think it's the investors, no, it's these people. Because if you don't have a product that people want, it doesn't matter how many investors give you money, you're still going to go out of business and fail. This is what these companies don't seem to be understanding anymore. You need to have good games in order to be a successful game development company. Or else you might as well just get out of the industry and go do something else that'll even make more money for investors. This is what they don't get. This is why the indie games are working. Seriously. So that's what I want. I just want a game that feels unique, that feels fun and innovative, has something that hooks me, whether it's a great story, great graphics, great gameplay loop, something that tries to do something different and feel culturally relevant. And I can tell when I play it, the people who made it had talent, they had passion for what they were doing, and they didn't do it just to make a paycheck. They did it because they wanted to do something that stood out in gaming and is a memorable experience. Sadly, those are few and far between. That's why I only have 8 games in my Game of the Year award countdown for 2025. Only 8 games felt like that for me in 2025 out of the probably 50 I played. And that's sad. Okay, the God Jeremy did a $2 super chat, says, did you ever play Saints Row 2? I did. I played it when it was a brand new release, and it was the first Saints Row game I ever played. So sadly, a lot of it was lost on me because I didn't understand most of the references that were made in the game because I had never played the first game. And I know the game had tons of references to Saints Row 1 in it. So, you know, over the years, people have said, first of all, would I ever play Saints Row 1? I said yes, and then eventually I did. We actually went back and played that HD upgraded version or whatever. I did a full playthrough of it. I never went back and replayed Saints Row 2. Maybe that's something to do in the future, is to do like a retro playthrough and play Saints Row 2 someday. We'll see. Definitely Not French just gifted a sub on Kick. Thank you so much to Definitely Not French. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're the second contributor on Kick today. And I received a $5 super chat from Princess Luna, who says, true, too many games just don't respect your time. They leave you feeling drained and stressed instead of calm and refreshed. And, you know, here's the thing. I understand that there are different styles of games and people look for different things in games. One person may be looking for a chill vibes game where all they want is to relax when they're playing. Some people actually might want a get good, ultra challenging game. And that's okay if that's what you're looking for. Like, no matter what, I get it. There's games for someone, right? There's a genre that matches your play style or whatever it may be. So that's a good thing, all right? But I think the problem is if you play a game and you, after, let's say you do a long gameplay session, or maybe you play the game at length and you beat it, if you don't feel rewarded, if you don't feel satisfied at the end, then what you just did was work instead of fun. Think about that. You're putting in effort, right, to go through whatever game mechanics are in the game, to overcome whatever challenges in said game, to get to the end. And if at the end of the day, you don't feel that the time investment that you put into that and the effort you put into that was worth what you got in the end, you just worked. You didn't have fun. You didn't play. You didn't relax. You worked. And I think this is what a lot of people also are not understanding about games in the modern era. Why are you expecting me to sit down and put in all this work into your game unless it feels rewarding at the end of the day? I need to feel rewarded by the end. I would say FromSoft games, for the most part, are incredibly grueling and challenging games, but if you put in the effort to learn them, they can be incredibly rewarding experiences. Robust worlds with tons of content to find, all kinds of lore, right? Hidden gems, different loadouts and ways to play them. I think it's worth it, for sure. A game that's hard just for the sake of being hard, or tedious and arduous and time-consuming and grindy just for the sake of doing that, those are time wasters. Those, you know, can time wasters work? Oh, they can. You can find a place in your life for a time waster style game if that's what you're looking for, and some people are, right? For me, I think that I want to find games that are a good balance. Like, there's games that are ultra challenging that I love, and then there's games that are more relaxing that I also love. you can have that balance, especially when you're a creator like me, where you can have different audiences for different kinds of games. That's perfect. You know, one audience wants to see me fail at the game and laugh at my raging, but then see me overcome, right? Then we need games where we can just sit back, relax, and chill together, and I'm okay with that too. You know what I'm saying? So, end of the day, ultimately, you have to feel like the game was worth the effort, time, and money you put into it. And I think that's a thing that's happening today is people are buying games and sinking a bunch of time into them. At the end of the day, they're like, what did I just waste all that time for? What was the point? Assassin's Creed Shadows is the perfect example. Like, people actually did put a lot of time into finishing it because they love Assassin's Creed, and they got to the end and they were like, what did I just beat this game for? What was the point? It was a completely meaningless game. It doesn't resonate. I won't remember it. It was a game made to try to produce money, not a game that was going to produce any kind of emotion, any kind of feeling of cultural relevance, or nothing. Didn't stand out. Just it felt like the same game you had already played twice, only in Japan. And, you know, yeah, the story had some interesting beats that were kind of weird and not in place of that you know, historical era. But, you know, there's no point in playing it. That's sad. Did I play it? Oh, I did. I played it for over 10, what was it, like 12 hours? I couldn't play it anymore. I really couldn't. I couldn't stand it. It drove me nuts how boring it was, how ridiculous it was. It's just so stupid. Hausrick says, Asmongold is thinking that gaming's better than ever. What's your opinion? I think what's happening is more games are coming out that are indie games that are more accessible because they're cheaper. And they're actually able to be played on a, you know, low to mid-end PC. Like, let's face it, most indie games today don't have groundbreaking graphics, right? And they become these digestible experiences that are just as good as a giant AAA release that's meant to be some epic masterpiece that's cinematic. And that's good for gaming. The more good games we get, the better. And the more games get recognized, even though they're not giant budget games, the better. So if you look at the big picture, gaming is doing well. But if you're looking at just the tried and true companies that used to entertain us and be the best games, things are going poorly. Depends on how you look at things. Okay. Looks like I might have gotten a tip. So I guess this is working. Yes, I got a $2 tip from Big Larry Gaming. So the new link apparently is working. He says, one of my favorite companies of this era is Falcom. They make JRPGs for the last few years, and they remaster and re-released outside of Japan. They're fun to play. AAA sucks these days. I don't know what games Falcom make. That's not familiar to me. But there you go. Thank you, Big Larry Gaming, for our first tip of the day, $2. So it looks like the links are working. Anyone know what kind of games Falcom makes? I'm not familiar with the company. If you don't know Falcom, you're not a JRPG fan. Well, maybe not modern JRPGs. I'm a fan of the classics, you know, Final Fantasy, you know, Dragon Quest, that kind of stuff. I'm a fan of the stuff, Ryuga Gotoku, or wherever they are. The Like a Dragon studio. I know I like those current JRPGs. But I don't know what Falcom puts out. Let's see here. BRSV, thank you for becoming a standard supporter this morning. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's our second membership of the day. Appreciate that. Darth Fig asks, will I review Fallout Season 2? Will I formally review it? No. Will I talk about it as a topic on this podcast? Yes. And so 3 episodes are out, and I actually really like the show right now. I've liked every single episode of this season. Like, really, I have. I think it's actually a really great show. I'm enjoying every single time I turn the show on. I start watching, and something happens. I'm like, oh, man, that's cool. There's new lore. You're seeing what happened after the games. Oh, wow, that's neat that they translated this gameplay element into something in the show. I'm actually really liking it. So I will talk about it more moving forward. Maybe once the whole season's done, which is going to be, like another month and a half, maybe I'll do an actual segment of a podcast where I tell you what I thought about the whole season and its plot and outcome. I'm down for that. Parasolo says, Capcom is doing the heavy lifting in the industry. They've been consistent with their titles. Yes and no. And here's what I mean by that. Capcom has these different titles. For example, Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is actually doing quite well, but it's in the Monster Hunter bubble. And what I mean by that is, like, Monster Hunter has a big following, but it kind of feels like one of those gaming cultural bubbles where if you're in it, you know about it, and if you're not in it, you're like, what's Monster Hunter? It's kind of weird in that regard, because, like, I know about Monster Hunter now because you guys have talked about it and a lot of you like it, but outside of that, like, I'll hear people talk about it for a little bit and then it, like, disappears. It's like, oh yeah, you're aware Monster Hunter is one of the best-selling games Capcom has ever had. It surpassed almost all their other franchises. You wouldn't know it, but yeah, it's, like, super prominent, right? Street Fighter. Right now, Street Fighter, I hate to say, is in a slump. Street Fighter had a big reinvigoration with 4, and then when 5 came out, it went right into a slump. They ruined it. And then they had a big reinvigoration with 6, but now they're in a slump again because they don't have any other fighting games that they're focusing on. And Street Fighter 6 is in an actual competitive slump where most people who play it don't like it anymore or are very bored with it. And Capcom is putting in no effort to try to fix it. In fact, they actually posted up on their socials, hey, players, can you give us feedback on what you want us to do with the game? It's like, but you're the developer. Like, you're the one who should have had a roadmap of what to do with your game to entertain your customer base. You didn't? There was a time when Capcom was so good at fighting games, they would have 4 separate series running at once. They would have the classics, like Super Turbo would still be prominent. Then they would have the Versus series, so you have like a Marvel versus Capcom game. Then they would have a Street Fighter Alpha series going. And then they had another Versus series like CVS, Capcom versus SNK. And all 4 of those series would be incredibly prominent and have a healthy player bases and people buying them and playing them. Now, all they have is Street Fighter 6. And it's kind of dead and fizzled out, and no one really cares that much about it anymore. People are very much more excited for the new games coming out this year, like Invincible versus the Avatar game. They want more info on Marvel Tokon than they are about Street Fighter 6, you see? So, in regards to Street Fighter, I don't think so anymore. Resident Evil's doing well. Resident Evil has 2 franchises going on at once. You've got the mainline Resident Evil games that are brand new, continuing news story, but then they've got the re-release remasters of the classics that they're now coming out with, right? Which have been good. Resident Evil 2, 3. Are they doing 0 next? I forget which one they've announced they're doing next because, you know, Requiem's next and then it's another remaster. Those are actually doing really good. So in that regard, Capcom's actually doing quite good. And now they've announced Mega Man's coming back, right? So I think Capcom is doing decent. They're kind of like half and half good. They are doing all right. Street Fighter I'm sad because Street Fighter was my thing, and Street Fighter is definitely floundering right now. Okay, I wish that it wasn't. I wish that it was more prominent. I wish they were doing better with it. It sucks that it is floundering. Okay, but you know, hey, what can I say? That's life, I guess. You can't be hitting it on all cylinders at all times. And you know, Capcom has a bunch of stuff on the shelf. Maybe one day they'll bring back Devil May Cry and stuff like that. Who knows, right? Let's see here. Wow, so many people talking to me here. Broden says, what do you think about the influx of Hollywood influence and actors coming into the gaming world? Will it lead to more slop? Yes and no. Like, on the one hand, I don't mind having more prominent actors as video game roles. But at the same time, if that's the only good thing about the game is the actor and not the game, then you've made slop. Exactly. You know? So, hey, I'm all for having real actors and actresses be part of the cast of a video game. Let's make it more cinematic and more professional in that regard. But at the same time, I want the game to be good too. The game is supposed to be the core focus, not the actor in the game. Let's see here. Dave is asking, would I consider playing Civ 7? It's the newest game in the series. I wanted to play it last year. It came out early last year, right? And I was down for it. I had a gaming PC and I was like, yeah, let's play Civ. And then for whatever reason, people were like, do not play Civ. Civ is awful. Civ is terrible. Civ is not good. This Civ 7 is a big failure and no one's playing it. So I ended up skipping it. I don't know if that's changed in the last year or not. Okay, Falcom makes the Trails series and the Y series. That's why I haven't played those franchises. I know of them, but I've never played them. So there you go. Well, me too, Abdullah. He says, man, I love the classic Street Fighters. I wish, again, this is another thing, another failure on Capcom's part. They do not do anything with posterity for their games. Whenever they have a collection, the collection is a rushed, slapped together, low quality, no longevity, no cross-play collection. So everyone rushes out. Oh, we can actually play Street Fighter Alpha 3 again. Oh, we could play Street Fighter 3 Third Strike again. Ooh, this classic game, Marvel vs. Capcom's available again. So they run out and they buy it. Come to find out, it's half featured, doesn't really have anything that would make it last. And then within a few months, it's dead. I mean, look what happened last year. What was it? Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I bought it for Capcom vs. SNK 2. I played it for a good 4 or 5 months. I loved it. It's completely dead now. There's no way to play it anymore. Entire player base fell off because it's not cross-play. So now what's the only way to play classic Street Fighter games? Pirate them. Download the ROMs and play them on Fightcade, which obviously you really don't want to do. You want to buy them and play them in a controlled environment where it's safe, where people can't get your IP address, where you're not committing crimes to play them. But that's the problem with Capcom. Like, they don't try. If they would try and make, like, for example, let's say Capcom had a game, and this game was actually called Capcom Fighting Legacy. And all this game was, it was a hub where you log in and you can play the classic Street Fighter games legally. Okay? And there could even be seasonal content. Okay? Where maybe every season they add new skins, new soundtracks, new things, so that you can actually pay a little bit of extra money into the game after the initial purchase to make it viable for them to keep maintaining this posterity. Maybe there could be a virtual arcade, like they have a virtual arcade in Street Fighter 6, so make a virtual arcade in this game and you play all the classics against people, right? How cool would that be? And now Capcom could say, this is the official place to play the classics. Rankings, online rankings, cross-play rankings. We can have tournament series based on the classics through this game, this app, this service. What fighting game fan wouldn't fucking buy that and play it and even do a subscription? I would pay $5 a month to have Capcom Legacy Collection or whatever you want to call it and have real online play of all the classics with everyone, have new content. I would spend money on it. I would buy skins, colors. I would do all of that. Instead, Capcom says, no, you just go pirate it. That's retarded. All they have to do is put a little bit of effort in. They refuse. I don't get it. I want to play the classic fighting games again. Look at my history as a creator in the last 17 years. Every time one of these collections comes out, Street Fighter 3 Online Edition, Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, Capcom Fighting Collection, I buy it, I play it as long as I humanly can, until basically no one plays it anymore, and then I retire it. Because what can I do? There's no more people playing, the lobbies are lagging, no one, what am I supposed to do? I just don't understand why they don't care about their classics. I think that they would actually have a significant customer base who would appreciate them and love them if they would give them that kind of attention. They don't. They ignore their longtime fans, and they're only, at this point, they're only trying to appeal to a casualized audience of people who will spend money in the modern day, who are basically the casual players playing Street Fighter 6, the ones who are buying the seasonal passes to get new avatar pieces and shit like that, which even the competitive players don't care about. They've lost ideas. They don't have any creative ideas of how to make money. It's sad. They have such an awesome franchise and such a legacy of content and culture, and they just leave it unused because they're just not very creative people. They're kind of bankrupt in that regard, I hate to say. Sad stuff, man. All right. Well, this has been a fun podcast, guys. I hope you enjoyed the chill vibes, and, I'm back for a fun week. Like I said, at the very least, this week we have 5 freaking games in the rotation, right? Expedition 33, Arc Raiders, Pokemon, RimWorld, and probably some Call of Duty. By the end of this week, we're going to have some good stuff added in regards to Code Violet. Hopefully it's good. And then after that, we can play it by ear because there's a couple other games coming out this month that it looks like we may be interested in. I'm sure there'll be some indie gems that'll come out of nowhere that we'll check out. But we got a good rotation of stuff going on today. And I'm excited, all right? So please stick around for Expedition 33. Please come back tonight for RimWorld. Thank you guys so very much for chilling with me here on the podcast today. And to those who did, thank you for the early support. I appreciate that. Okay, guys? All right, so a reminder, there will be no podcast tomorrow, all right? The Level 1 podcast will return on Tuesday. We'll have kind of a midweek show, and then we're going to have one on Thursday, and that one likely will be the most disappointing games of the year countdown. Sound good? I hope so. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for a great show. I hope that you had a good time with me. I had a great time hanging out with you. And I will see you all on Tuesday morning for the next episode of the podcast, all right? But in the meantime, stick around and hang out with me for some chill vibes all day long. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Peace.